Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And you really all surprised me because I didn't know how many people to expect just because of the weather, but I'm just so glad that you're all here this evening and that we're going to be bringing in the new year together. So to begin, we will have opening meditation followed by meditation. Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namada. Nama. We will continue the service with the Gatha, Namu Amida Butsu, and this can be found on page 188. And this will be followed by the three treasures. And I believe it's on page 2. Three treasures. So please join me, and if you can, please stand for the Gatha, Namu Amida Butsu, and continue standing for the three treasures. Treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. We'll continue the service with the chanting of Jusei. And Jusei can be found on page 95. And please join me in the chanting. And I hope to hear all of your wonderful, beautiful voices this evening. Okay, so at this time, I'm very honored and privileged to read our outgoing president's message. And this is by Mrs. Kende Hayashi, and unfortunately, she's not able to be here. But she did want to have her message read. And so Candy says, hello, everyone. Thank you for attending our 2022 Joy Eyes service. I'm sorry for not being present this evening as I am making my way home from a happy, joyous event to end the year. In thinking about all of the services that we have during the year, this is probably my favorite. There is something special, nostalgic about this service as we sit in the quiet of the lit temple and reflect on the year. This is our only evening service, which makes it all the more unique and special. As I recall, David and I made this our New Year's Eve tradition way back in the days when we were dating, some 45 years ago or so. We planned out New Year's Eve to include coming here before doing anything else, or finish our dinner reservation in time to make the service. So as important as this evening is for me, I do apologize for not being here with you tonight in person. Thank you for all of your support of the Buddhist Church of Stockton during 2022. It has been quite a year as we transitioned to in-person services and resumed some of our activities. We have been very cautious and conservative in our reopening approach, and we greatly appreciate your patience. In concluding this year, I wish to extend my gratitude to Reverend Candace, Nicole Corral, Ruby Pato, our Pomon Board of Directors, our affiliated organizations, our dedicated volunteers, and to all of you, our wonderful members and friends. Additionally, I ask for your continued support for 2023 as we embark on another year bound to be filled with challenging circumstances and much unknown. One thing is for certain, Stockton has a wonderful Sangha which supports our very beautiful Buddhist Church of Stockton. And for that, we are very grateful. Happy New Year's Eve and Happy New Year 2023. In Gasho, Candy Hayashi. So thank you so much, Candy. I know she's making her way home, and if she's online in the car, I don't know if it's a possibility. We thank you for your message. And at this time, what I'd like to do is give my Dharma message, which I totally flew over that. So I don't know if it's my nervousness of actually being in person with all of you. As many of you know, I started in July of 2020. But this year has been a year of first for me. I'm actually doing everything in person. And you would think because I grew up at this temple, I would know what to do. I totally don't. It's so different being in the pews, being a member of the temple and participating on that end. But when it's time to actually do everything in person, this really is a first for me since my first 2 years were in front of a computer screen. So it really is an honor for me to share my New Year's Eve Dharma message with all of you this evening. So thank you so much again for weathering the storm to gather for our New Year's Eve service. I appreciate your attendance, and I'm really happy to be able to spend this evening with each and every one of you. As Candy had mentioned, this evening is an opportunity for us to truly reflect upon this past year and express our appreciation for this past year as well. I realize that the weather may not be what we had originally hoped for in regards to ringing in this new year, but by no means should it set the tone for what's to come in 2023. However, even tonight's weather and rain allows us to truly reflect upon maybe even the difficulties that we might have experienced this past year, and really how turbulent it has been for us emotionally in various ways, very deeply, very personal ways. Maybe you have lost a loved one during this past year, or you're missing a loved one who has been gone for several years. Maybe the pandemic has created some isolation or even frustration in your life as well. However, this evening allows us to truly reflect upon what has been very beautiful during this past year as well, which I hope can create this deep sense of appreciation in all of your hearts too. As we still maneuver through the pandemic during this past year, you may have had concentrated amounts of time with your loved ones. And for those of you who might have experienced a loss during this year, this quality time spent with your loved ones is something that I know that you deeply cherish. Just as the rain, as turbulent as it can be at times, we can really reflect upon maybe some of these turbulent feelings that we have too. But when we think about rain and we think about storms, it also really gives us the much needed rain and water to give life to everything, all living beings. It can create movement for rivers and oceans, and even rainwater can produce much power as well, which was kind of ironic because I lost power right before I came here because of the storm, but the currents of rain and water can really create a lot of power. So when I reflect upon the word life, as I was reflecting upon the life that water gives, I think of Amida Buddha's compassion. We also refer to Amida Buddha's light as well, that refers to Amida Buddha's wisdom. And I was struck by something that my dad told me yesterday as he was assisting me in preparing for this evening service. When we leave the temple to hear and to ring the big bell called the Bonsho outside, you'll notice that there are some lights for our safety, lighting our path to be able to go to it. And my dad stated that Mr. George Higadawa, our beloved member who passed away this year, he would always set up these lights for us. And as a child, as I mentioned, who grew up here, and as a teenager who would return to New Year's Eve services, I maybe didn't put into much thought about the light that we do have that lights our way and protects us and guides us to the Bonsho. Perhaps maybe I was too excited to ring the bell to have the service conclude so that we can go eat soba after the service. However, now as an adult and as a minister, of course, I understand the selflessness, the selfless giving and dedication of so many of our members who do so much for the temple. And most of these tasks, they magically get done. And they're all prepared before many of us even reach the temple. And this has been done by our past members and countless current members as well. So I cannot thank all of the volunteers enough for the great care of the temple in so many ways that each of you provide. And our board members of the temple and of our affiliated organizations, the trustees and our advisors, the Komon, and of course our temple office manager, Nicole, for all of your dedication and support to the temple. But as I reflect upon this year and the lights that will light our path to the Bonsho, I think about our past members who were so dedicated, like George, who light our way in the previous years, and like our loved ones who passed away, all of our members who have passed and gone before us, they continue to light our paths in our lives. They guide us each and every day. And so now as my dad takes care of this task of putting this particular light up, I think about his tremendous help and the support from him, and of course, from so many people. And I can't not be grateful in the midst of this crazy, crazy storm that we've had. So as we finish this year together, I want to thank each and every one of you, and all of you who are at home too, in the safety and comfort of your homes. Thank you so much for your continued support and your dedication to the temple. And I wish all of you the best in the new year, and may Amida Buddha's guiding light be of warmth and comfort to you each and every day. So to conclude my message, will you please join me in gospel? Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu. Okay, so please rise for Gata Ondoksan number 1, and this can be found on page 194. You may be seated. Okay, so we will have some closing remarks and some announcements. Okay, so to conclude the service, I do again want to thank each and every one of you for attending. And there's a lot of soba, so I hope that you can stay if you feel comfortable staying and eating. And possibly taking some home. I'm not sure how many folks we have in attendance today, but I think there's 89 portions. So you might get double. I feel like, oh, you're getting a bowl of soba, you're getting a bowl of soba, you're getting a bowl of soba. But there's containers if you do want to take yours home, okay? In regards to the announcements, the New Year's Day service is going to be tomorrow at 11 a.m. here. And then we'll also be streaming as well to Zoom and of course our YouTube. And we're returning to our in-person craft meet January 14th, and there will be a limited seating of 350 people. The cost is $70 per person and $35 for 10 years of age and under. Groups of 8 or larger may reserve seating. Please contact the church office for more information and your tickets to reserve. We are also seeking volunteers to help during the event. Contact Darlene Bagshaw, Ben Prime here, if you can help. And we're also looking for donations for the raffle. Please contact Sachi Yanokida or Candy Hayashi regarding the raffle. Please also join us for a Hongo service on January 22nd, 2023 at 10 a.m. Followed by our annual New Year's party. We will have a belated retirement for our previous minister, Reverend Yukiko Motoyoshi, and a welcome for Reverend Shibata. I didn't write these, I promise. Invitations and more information and RSVP info, I believe was put in the past Karma, our newsletter. And so we ask for your very best potluck dish, to which we will supplement some additional dishes. If you would like to be involved or have a talent to share, please contact Darlene Bagshaw as soon as possible if you'd like to participate. Sunday, February 5th is the Young Adult Buddhist Association's famous baked potato sale. It's still only $8, and please see the Karma newsletter for additional details. Sangha Club are middle schoolers, They're continuing the collection of aluminum cans and recyclable plastic bottles. Donations may be left at the white bins under the carport area and help keep your recyclable bottles and cans out of the landfills while supporting one of our youth groups. Are there any other announcements? Oh, my goodness. I wore my Star Wars socks. Thank you.
So good evening, happy new year, everyone. One of the many things that Reverend Shibata does is she helps us with the Dharma School, and I see former and present Dharma School teachers and students, decades of us, huh? So anyways, at the end of the year, we like to thank her. She was very inspirational in kind of fostering our online programs and keeping our students entertained and informed and educated in Buddhism during the entire pandemic. It took us a while to figure out how to get on, but then once Reverend Shibata came, we really enhanced the services to make it so that everybody could feel like they're participating and not just watching the program on Zoom. So we really appreciate that. And everything you do and the way you welcome the children. It's absolutely fantastic. So we have a little gift for you from the Dharma School, so thank you very much. And again, we really appreciate all you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, and we're also doing our script program. So if you're interested in supporting the temple by purchasing gift cards that you probably will use or give away anyways, please see Mike Shibata, or you can inquire. Oh, and then the order forms are also in the lobby, and that's just a limited portion of vendors or shops. If you go online, there's a long list of different gift cards that you can purchase. And then also Amazon Smile, please continue to support us through Amazon Smile. Okay, so are there any other announcements? No? Okay, so if you didn't have an opportunity before the service started, please come up. You could offer incense. Everybody offers incense, or do they? Okay.
Start from the back and then they can go on the function.
Oh, nice. Okay. So those folks, the Leanne kids, you were smart to sit in the back. So we'll start in the back to offer incense, and then please go out to the boncho if you would like to ring the bell. And then again, if you would like to join us for soba, please meet us in the main chapel and stay for a hot bowl of soba. Okay, so thanks everybody. We appreciate your attendance. Please join me in Basho one last time. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu. Thanks everybody.
So anyways, thanks everyone for joining us on Zoom. We're going to close out